My name is Alara Vance. I am 31 years old. Last night at my sister's wedding, she slapped me hard in front of 500 guests. She humiliated me and called me garbage. Everyone around us started laughing. I didn't argue. I didn't fight back. I just stood there in silence. But then her fiancé suddenly stepped forward and shouted, "Do you even know who she is?" And in that moment, the entire room changed. Before I tell you what actually happened, please like and subscribe to the channel. And tell me your country in the comments. Now, let's begin. The music was loud. Soft lights filled the hall, and people were laughing, talking, celebrating. It was a beautiful wedding, my stepsister's wedding. I stood near the back of the hall, away from the crowd, holding a glass of water I hadn't even touched. No one noticed me, and honestly, I preferred it that way. It had been years since I last saw this family, years since the day they told me to leave and never come back. But when the invitation arrived, I don't know why, I still came. Maybe I wanted closure. Maybe I wanted to see if anything had changed. But as I stood there watching them laugh together, I realized something. Nothing had changed. To them, I was still the same girl they threw away. I wasn't always like this. There was a time when I used to beg for their love. I was young, maybe 16. My mother had passed away, and my father remarried quickly. That's when she came into my life, my stepsister. From the very beginning, she made it clear I didn't belong. She had everything: attention, care, love. And I had nothing. If something went wrong in the house, it was my fault. If she cried, I was blamed. If she wanted something, I had to give it up. At first, I stayed quiet. I thought if I behaved well enough, if I stayed out of trouble, maybe they would accept me. But that day never came. I still remember the night everything ended. We were sitting at the dinner table when my stepsister suddenly started crying. She said I had ruined her dress. I hadn't, but no one asked me. My father didn't even look at me. He just pointed at the door and said, "Get out." Just like that. No explanation. No second chance. I stood there waiting for someone to stop him, for someone to say it wasn't true. But no one did. So I left. That night, I lost my home and my family. The first few years were the hardest. I had no money, no support, no one to trust. I worked small jobs, cleaned tables, stayed in cheap rooms. Sometimes I didn't even know where I would sleep. But I kept going because I had nothing left to lose. Slowly, things started changing. I studied. I worked harder than anyone around me. I failed many times, but I learned from every mistake. And little by little, I built something no one could take away from me. Years passed, and one day, I realized I wasn't surviving anymore. I was winning. The same girl they called useless had built something bigger than they could ever imagine. But I never went back. I never told them. I never needed their approval again. And now here I was, standing at my stepsister's wedding, watching her live the life she always believed she deserved. She looked happy, perfect dress, perfect makeup, perfect life. Just like always. For a moment, I thought maybe I should leave. There was no reason for me to stay. But before I could move, I heard her voice. Loud. Sharp. Calling my name. Head started turning. People looked at me. I felt their eyes, judging, curious. My stepsister walked toward me, her heels clicking loudly against the floor. Her smile was gone, replaced by something cold. "You actually came?" she said, her voice loud enough for people nearby to hear. I didn't answer. I just looked at her calmly. She stepped closer. Her eyes scanned my simple dress, my quiet presence. And I could see it in her face, disgust. "Look at you," she said, shaking her head. "You really thought you could stand here with people like us?" A few guests nearby started whispering. I could feel the tension building, but I stayed silent just like I used to. And maybe that made her even angrier. She laughed, a sharp, mocking laugh. "Let me guess," she continued, louder now, making sure more people heard. "You came here hoping to get something from me?" I said nothing. I didn't need to. But in her eyes, my silence looked like weakness. And then it happened. Without warning, her hand rose and struck my face. A sharp sound echoed through the hall. For a second, everything went quiet. Then people started laughing. Soft at first, then louder, like it was entertainment, like I was nothing more than a joke. My cheek burned, but I didn't touch it. I didn't react. I didn't speak. I just stood there in silence. She stepped closer again, lowering her voice, but still loud enough for others to hear. "You don't belong here," she said. "You never did." And as the laughter continued around me, I realized something. This wasn't the past anymore. I wasn't that helpless girl. Not anymore. But I still didn't move. I still didn't say a word. Because I didn't need to. And that's when someone stepped forward. Do you even know who she is? The voice was loud and sharp, cutting through the laughter like a blade. The room fell silent, and every head turned. I didn't need to look to know who it was, but I did anyway. My stepsister's fiancé. He was standing just a few steps away, his eyes fixed on me, not on her, on me, and there was something in his expression I hadn't seen before. Shock, real, unmistakable shock. My stepsister frowned, confused. "What are you doing?" she asked, trying to laugh it off. "Relax, it's nothing. She's just..." "Stop." His voice was calm this time, but firm, the kind of calm that makes people listen, the kind of calm that makes things worse. He took another step forward, still looking at me, as if trying to confirm something, as if he couldn't believe what he was seeing. And then he said my name, slowly, carefully. "Miss Vance." A ripple went through the crowd, and people started whispering. My stepsister froze. "What did you just say?" she asked. He didn't answer her. He was still looking at me, waiting. For a second, I considered saying something, explaining, stopping this before it got out of control. But then I remembered the sound of her hand, the laughter, the words, "You don't belong here." So I said nothing. That was enough. His expression changed from doubt to certainty. He let out a slow breath and ran a hand through his hair, then turned to my stepsister, and for the first time there was anger in his eyes. Not small anger, not confusion, real anger. "Do you have any idea what you just did?" he asked. She blinked, completely lost. "What are you talking about?" she snapped. "You're overreacting. She's no one." "No one," he repeated. A short, disbelieving laugh escaped him before he shook his head. "No one," he said again, quieter this time. He stepped closer to her, lowering his voice slightly, but not enough. Everyone could still hear. "That no one you just slapped," he said slowly, "is the owner of Vance Global Holdings." The words landed heavy. This time, everyone heard it clearly. No confusion. No misunderstanding. Vance Global Holdings, one of the biggest international companies, multi-million-dollar deals, global partnerships, a name people respected. And now, every single person in that room was slowly turning to look at me. My stepsister stared at him, then at me, then back at him again, and suddenly she laughed. But this time it wasn't confident. It wasn't mocking. It was nervous, almost desperate. "Stop joking," she said quickly. "This isn't funny." "I'm not joking." His voice didn't change, not even a little. "She's the one who built everything," he continued. "She's the reason half of our international deals even exist." People were turning now, really looking at me, not with amusement anymore, not with judgment, but with something else. Confusion, doubt, fear. My stepsister shook her head. "No," she said. "No, that's impossible." She pointed at me. "She left home with nothing," she continued. "She couldn't even take care of herself. How could she?" "Because she's not the same person anymore," he cut in. That hit harder than anything because it was true. He turned back to me, his tone softening just slightly. "Why didn't you say anything?" he asked. I looked at him, then at the people around us. All those faces that once looked down on me, now staring like they were seeing a stranger. And I gave the simplest answer. I didn't need to. Silence again, but this time it felt different. My stepsister's face had completely changed now, the confidence gone, replaced by something fragile, something uncertain. "You're lying," she said, but her voice wasn't strong anymore. "You have to be lying." He didn't even look at her. "I've seen her in board meetings," he said. "I've seen people twice my age stand up when she walks into the room." That did it. The room shifted. You could feel it, like the air itself had changed. The same people who laughed just minutes ago were now completely silent. My stepsister took a step back, then another, as if trying to create distance from me, from the situation, from the truth. "This is ridiculous," she muttered. "You're ruining my wedding over this?" That's when he finally looked at her, really looked at her, and what she saw in his eyes made her stop talking. "I'm not ruining anything," he said quietly. "You did." The words hung in the air, heavy and final. She stared at him. "You can't be serious," she whispered. He didn't hesitate. "I am." A long silence followed. No music, no laughter, no movement, just hundreds of people watching. Then he took a step back and said the one thing no one expected. "I can't marry you." The words echoed in the hall. "I can't marry you." For a second, it didn't feel real. Then everything collapsed. "What are you saying?" My stepsister shouted, her voice breaking. "This is my wedding." She grabbed his arm tightly. "You can't do this over something so small." He gently pulled his hand away. "This isn't small," he said. "This shows who you really are." Her confidence was gone now, completely gone. She looked around, desperate. "Mom, Dad, say something," she cried. My father quickly stepped in, trying to control the situation. "Listen," he said to the fiancé, forcing a smile. "This is just a misunderstanding. Emotions are high. Let's not make a decision like this." My stepmother nodded quickly. "Yes, exactly." She didn't know. Anyone could make this mistake. Then something unexpected happened. My stepsister turned toward me. Her eyes were filled with panic now, not anger, not pride, fear. "Say something," she said to me, her voice shaking. "Tell him it's not a big deal. Tell him to stop this." For the first time in years, she was asking me for help. The room went completely quiet again. Everyone was watching, waiting. My father stepped closer to me. His tone changed, softer, careful. "We made mistakes," he said, "but this is your sister's life. Don't let this wedding break because of one moment." My stepmother added quickly, "Please, just say something. He respects you. He'll listen to you." I looked at all of them. The same people who once threw me out were now standing in front of me, asking for help. Slowly, I turned my eyes to my stepsister. Her makeup was perfect. Her dress was perfect. But her face was filled with fear. "Please," she whispered, "don't let him leave me." For a moment, everything was silent. Then I spoke calm, simple. "This has nothing to do with me." They all froze. I looked at her fiancé. "This is your decision," I said. "Not mine." He nodded slowly, like he already knew that. Then I stepped back, creating distance from them, from the situation, from the past. My stepsister shook her head, tears finally falling. "No, you can't do this to me," she whispered. But I already had. Not with revenge, not with anger, just by saying nothing. My father tried one last time. "Wait," he said. But I didn't stop. I turned around and started walking toward the exit. No one laughed now. No one spoke. Behind me, I could hear her crying, her voice breaking, her perfect wedding falling apart. But I didn't look back, because some things don't need a second chance. And some people only understand your value when it's too late. So I walked away, quietly, calmly, just like I stood there earlier. But this time, I wasn't invisible. I was the one they would never forget.